What is going to happen to the 50k prize money that Samie and Ciaran scooped?
When I bet on the wrong horse at Cheltenham, I'm not demanding my money back from the horse.
Well, this is true.
I don't think that the guests were that stellar, Jake.
Okay.
Sorry if I sound like a hater. What is she offering here?
Now, so you want to secure the scoop.
Yeah.
Even if it's 1 a.m.
Anyone is an interesting interview, regardless of their calibre, if you ask a juicy enough question.
Yes.
The gal's busy, like good on her, booked and busy. Welcome to Showbiz Fix, sponsored by Sun Bingo. This is your destination for the inside scoop on all our celebrity exclusives and the biggest entertainment stories you're loving this week. It's only been 3 weeks since we wrapped on Love Island All-Stars, and there's been major heartbreak with winners Samie and Ciaran suddenly splitting. We're diving into Claudia Winkleman's brand new chat show, plus we're asking the big question: are we any closer to the BBC's decision of the decade for the new Strictly hosts? Love Island, guys!
So much going on.
I know I live and breathe Love Island, and quite literally that was the case this weekend when I woke up at 1 a.m. in the morning to a text message saying Samie and Ciaran have split up. And it was that, you know, that meme where it's like coming back to life. Now, the context being it was my birthday night out. So waking up at 1 a.m, needing a glass of water, grabbing your phone, like, we know what it's like when you get a text message about a great story and you're like, I've got to do something with this information.
Yeah, you want to nail it down before it kind of gets out to anyone else. You want to secure the scoop.
Yeah. So
Even
I'm
if
like,
it's 1 a.m.
well, I'm like, it's 1 a.m. Probably no one else is going to find out about this or publish it at 1 a.m. So maybe I can go back to sleep. But look, broken up after 3 weeks, about 15 days, fastest Love Island breakup ever. His side is saying she's very busy with work. Her side saying he just wasn't communicating. So both those things can be true at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. But what I thought would be good to do is my DMs, and lots of fans have been asking me loads of questions about this. So I thought you guys could ask me the questions that people want to know the answers to. Let's try and get to the bottom of this.
So I'm going to start. Flick.
Okay.
Ready?
No, I'm scared.
Grilled now.
Interview section. So do you think Samie and Ciaran will get back together?
Everyone wants to know this, which I think is really nice because it shows how much people loved them together. My theory is they could. They haven't fallen out. It was just, it's not happening right now type vibe. They obviously liked each other in the first place. He is now back in London, which I think could make the major difference in all of this. So I think they could, but it would need some work on his side.
Can I just say as well, they haven't unfollowed each other and they still have pictures together up.
That's always a good
removing of the
sign.
pictures is very final, isn't it?
Exactly. Very good point, Hannah.
So you sort of just touched on it there, but like we said, Ciaran has now moved to London. So surely this means they're going to be seeing each other a bit more in real life, at events. Do you think that's going to make all the difference?
Yeah, so everyone is convinced that the fact that him being back in London will make the difference. Even last night, he was hanging out with all the other finalists, the family, I think they put online. I think this means obviously they're going to be at group events together. They are going to see each other pretty soon. Look, this is what I think. There might be a drunken snog. There might be that kind of cheeky interaction just because they are in each other's worlds, like very deeply at the minute. I think, though, if they're getting back together, it's going to take some serious discussions.
Interesting.
He liked one of Sammy's pictures the other day. That's a good sign. Is that a sign that he's making a little bit of a move?
So this happened after I'd done the story on Sunday morning about them breaking up. And so everyone was like, you're lying. He's just liked one of her pictures. So the first thing that I would really stress is that we don't just put up a story saying people have split up unless we know that they have split up. I think because they've not fallen out, he's liking a picture.
Yeah, there's no bad blood there.
No, like I like people's pictures that I'm not necessarily, like going out with. married. So I don't think it means anything. And I don't think that all the social media stuff is that deep. I know we sometimes think it is, and it's like a telltale sign and all of that. The fact the pictures are still up and the liking, I think it's just not that deep. They've not fallen out. No one's cheated. There's no bad blood there.
Yeah.
So that's why that happened.
And then, of course, social media is always commenting about stuff. We had Tyreek from Love Island sort of getting involved. What is going on with Tyreek? Has he got anything to do with it? Because I know a few people have been like, is he a random sort of third wheel here?
Yeah, so Tyreek has been very vocal constantly, before All Stars, during, after, that he fancies Samie. Now, when Tyreek put up that Instagram story, he shared Samie's post and put, "Let me know when you're back from New York." By that point, they'd already split up. And the Islanders knew they had already split up. So Tyreek was probably just being cheeky, like, "Let me know when you're back from New York." But because nobody else knew that they'd split up, everyone now thinks that had a part in it.
See.
Instead, it's just like Tyreek's job now is being a professional rage baiter, right?
That's what he does on his live streams every night.
He's so good at it. He knew that, like, inserting himself in this narrative is gonna, whip up a storm for him. So I am told Tyreek definitely has nothing to do with this. Tyreek just fancies Samie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as much as he'd like to have something to do with it, he doesn't.
Exactly.
Okay, $1 million question now, Flick. What is going to happen to the 50k prize money that Samie and Ciaran scooped?
This is the big one, because a lot of people are saying they should hand it back. And how can ITV allow them to keep it? Will it mean that they don't even get the money? So I've put my detective hat on and I've done the work on this. They get the money straight away.
So they basically
it's not
already got it.
It's not like the Traitors where they have to wait. Do you remember all of that hoo-ha about the fact they have to wait like a full year or something? They get the money straight away.
Wow.
And what my insiders were at pains to stress is that they win that money based on winning the vote. It's not based on any kind of longevity of the relationship. There isn't like you get to keep this if you manage to sustain beyond. So they have done nothing wrong in breaking up so quickly after winning the vote. But I think what fans are really mad about is the fact that they feel they were fooled into believing in the love and voting for them.
I agree. I agree with the fans. I think that Millie and Zach should have won.
I think this is the thing. It's like, who are you most convinced by? Is that where you place your vote?
Yeah. I think this is where it gets lost, because obviously we had the 5 finalists and then the one couple that have now split up are the winners. So you kind of feel cheated in the sense that if you did back them two because you thought, you know what, I can see them lasting, I've got a bit of faith in them, for them to have broken up so quickly, yet the 4 other couples seemingly are going pretty strong. We're seeing them on TikTok every day at events. They seem to all still be lovey-dovey. It's a little bit like you've backed something completely wrong when there's 4 couples who maybe deserved it more because they have lasted longer.
But when I bet on the wrong horse at Cheltenham, I'm not demanding my money back from the horse.
Well, this is true. And to be fair, you kind of, like we were saying, they've won it based on the vote. I think I look back to, say, Series 5 when Amber Gill won and her couple with Greg, they didn't last very long. And we all 6 weeks. We all sort of voted for her based on her. We always call her the first solo winner, don't we? So I think that's a great example of where you're voting to vote for the person and maybe not necessarily for the relationship, which in fairness, it was a completely different situation, but it makes, you can understand the point therefore that they've won based on the vote.
So no, they're not giving back the money.
They're keeping their quids in.
What's so funny, and Hannah, we spoke about this earlier, is a fan had said to Samie on Snapchat, are you giving that 50k back? And Samie had been like, yes, send me your bank details. I love that from them, though. Do you know what did slightly stick in the craw, though, is this rapidly became, it's Sammy's fault because Sammy's busy with work and she's not making the time for the relationship. And I was just like, what in the feminism is this? Like, the gal's busy, like, good on her, booked and busy. Why should she bend for him instead of him coming up for her? If he's not as busy, you fill in the gaps, mate. It really annoyed me.
Yeah, as a narrative that his team have put out, that feels quite naughty and, gives a bad idea of, a woman being booked and busy. I don't like it.
This is the thing. I was like, those two things are both, it adds up to the same thing. But, same thing with me and my husband. I don't know about you. If you're the busy one, then they come they fill in the gaps in the diary. And
I'm always the busy one. Our job is busy, isn't it? They do
24/7.
they have to fit in around
Yeah.
us, right?
And
speaking as the busy one.
And also, I feel like we can't blame Samie for the fact she's getting loads of work. Like, that is obviously one of the perks that comes with Love Island. She was probably one of the bigger female names on this year's cast. So, I mean, are we surprised that she's getting booked for all these different jobs and events? I don't think we are.
Can I just say, though, she was on that girls' trip with Olivia Attwood for her River Island line with the winner of last year's Love Island, Tony Lates, and her pal, Sophie Piper. I would love to know what was going on in their drunken chats.
That is a conversation I would love to be a witness to.
Yes.
I know. I was like, how do I get into this girl gang? Yeah. And I just also love that they put up all these like really quite candid photos from the trip smoking. You never see people smoking anymore, do you? And like having a Corona. Again, these gals aren't on, you know, juice diets, are they? So, yeah. I mean, shock horror, Flick wants to defend the booked and busy girl in this. But you know what I mean? Like, I didn't like how the internet immediately jumped on it being Sammy's fault because, you know, how dare she carry on with her busy diary? We should do better. Okay, so moving on to someone else who has a very busy diary, Ms. Claudia Winkleman.
Yes, she's got a very busy diary, hasn't she? She kicked off the Claudia Winkleman show last week. That's sort of her, I think the BBC has sort of described it as her version of the Graham Norton show. Obviously, that's been running for however many years now. Same time slot on a Friday. She kicked it off last week. She had quite the stellar lineup of people, really. She had Jeff Goldblum was there. We had Jennifer Saunders, Vanessa Williams, and then we had Tom Allen, the comedian. And sort of everyone's been chiming in after episode one, sort of having their say, what they thought of it. And it's been, I would say, mixed to positive on the front. So we haven't got, it's not been a flop, which of course is brilliant. But I think the idea is that Claudia is great. We all love Claudia. She's fantastic at what she does. But maybe the actual formatting of the show could do with maybe a couple of tweaks, if we can say that.
Yeah. So I thought that, you know, the thing that we love about Claudia is this sort of awkwardness, you know, the Clauditorium vibes where it's all feels off, you know, it's off script, candid, all that kind of thing. And when I was watching the first episode, I was like, the awkwardness here is making me root for her because I'm like, come on, Claudia, you're doing this thing, which was either a masterstroke because it got us all on side, or it could end up being its downfall. Because I always think this, when you interview someone, you're watching someone interview someone and it feels like an awkward chat, I'm like, oh, and you want to feel like the person in charge is leading it, don't you? And has things under control. And I don't know whether it necessarily felt like Claudia did have things under control. What did you think, honey?
I always think that you want to feel safe in the host's hands.
Yeah.
And as you've just explained, maybe the audience didn't feel super safe in Claudia's hands.
Yeah.
My other point would be that I don't think that the guests were that stellar, Jake. I think they are all great guests.
Yeah.
But if you compare them to who Graham Norton has, like literally Hollywood stars, Tom Cruise, Taylor Swift. So I think that she's already starting on the back foot there. But it was only week one. She can only get better, right?
Yeah, I think this is the thing. I think she sort of needs to play into her strength but not overdo it. And actually on the guest front, they were probably guests that were familiar with Claudia and how she is as a presenter. It wasn't like they'd brought in a Hollywood star that may never have seen. So they probably could understand how she's got this sort of awkward tone and makes these sort of off the cuff comments, and they probably helped her to host because they were playing into it. They were sort of egging her along, I guess.
Yeah. The sensible people, so for example, the Independent's Nick Hilton, the grown-ups said, it was a classy, witty affair, but it might need a few tweaks.
Yeah, I really like this quote because I think it really sums up how I sort of felt watching it. I think the tweaks that are needed, I think with a late night chat show, we've basically only got that and Graham Norton still in this country.
Jonathan Ross.
And Jonathan Ross, of course. How could I forget Jonathan Ross? Forgive me. But apart from those three, we haven't really got loads. And obviously in America, sort of the late night chat show is massive. And what I think could have done really well with Claudia, again, playing into her awkwardness and her comedies, bringing some of those sort of like little sketches and games that they used to have on sort of James Corden's show, and they have it sort of on Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, these programs. They always have these little sort of fun segments to get the guests involved, a little game, a little fun thing going on. And I think that could have really been a moment to make the show feel different to Graham Norton and also for Claudia to shine, because if she took two of her guests and sort of did some crazy outlandish game that we wouldn't see on any other program, I think it could have really helped it to feel different and also brought out the best in her.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of what Nick was saying, the tweaks could really be done to make it just feel that bit different and play into everyone's strengths.
Yeah. I interviewed Jonathan Ross before the launch of Handcuffed, which is the Channel 4 social experiment that's just wrapped last night, actually. But anyway, I was asking him about Claudia's new show and all that kind of thing. And he said the thing is, Graham's always going to get the best guests. Mm-hmm. And that's always the way it has been and always will, because it's the BBC. So if you're looking at I thought this was so interesting. If you're looking to where to place your talent, on the ITV, you can just pay for an advert for your thing. You can do this, that, and the other on all the other commercial channels. But the BBC, your only option is putting them on a show like this for an interview. So that's where you're going to put the time. Yeah. And Graham's such an established name. People love him. It's been on for decades. So Claudia has got a bit of an uphill struggle trying to compete with Graham in that way, hasn't she?
Yeah, I think so. And also, Graham does have sort of a bit of recognisability overseas as well, which Claudia may not have as much as him. Obviously, The Traitors is continuing to grow and grow. I'm sure people are watching her on there, but he's always going to have... Look, he's been doing it for years. He's a master of his craft. So I think, she is on the back foot, but I mean, let's will her on. Let's hope it continues to go up.
The other thing I would like Claudia to do is, as we know as journalists, anyone is an interesting interview, regardless of their caliber, if you ask a juicy enough question.
Yes. So she needs to be brave, I think, in asking her questions, rather than just stray into the safe comedy element. She needs to blend the both, and that will make it perfect.
Okay, well, we'll see what it looks like this week. Yes. I love that, though, because it records fairly... It's not live, but it's fairly frequent, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they record it sort of two days in advance.
Yeah, so we might see some changes. Yeah. I want to talk about Strictly now, Claudia's old show. Yes. Because the race for her role and Tess's is massively heating up. And we talk about it as a race because... there's been runners and riders who have been in the mix, not in the mix, some favourites and all that kind of thing. So, Hannah Hope, you have very much led this race, you and Ellie Henman. And so I wanted us to talk through who we're now looking at.
I contend.
Whether the BBC are going to make this decision anytime soon. So just for the people who are listening and not watching, Hannah has got little celebrity faces and she's going to be moving them around to explain what the heck is going on.
So we have our favourites. The BBC have had screen tests with a lot of these people. But what we are understanding is they are looking at a format where they have 3 presenters for a change. This will hark back to the days, and Strictly fans will remember, when Bruce Forsyth briefly presented with Tess Daly down on the ballroom floor and Claudia interviewed backstage. So we are going to have a fella up front in the Brucey position. So this is Rylan is one of the contenders. Alongside Rylan, we're going to have Bradley Walsh and potentially a newcomer, new horse to the race, Johannes Rabadas, who is a dancer on the show. Then we have got another glam Tess Daly step in to go next to the male host. And we're looking at Emma Willis. Obviously, Rylan and Emma would be a great duo from their Big Brother days.
Yeah.
Alex Jones, and lovely Zoe Ball. We'll put her here as well. I'm loving seeing them on screen like this, almost as if we're watching a potential Strictly Come Dancing show. And Angela Scanlon has been reported to be a newcomer to this race as well. And she's also been a contestant on the show, so she would be great. And then up in the Clauditorium, we have potentially, I'll put her, where should I put the Clauditorium?
Let's gather the glam sensibles.
Should I put these ones?
I'll put them next to Jake.
Yeah.
Here we go. I've got the Clauditorium. Maybe we're the new 3.
And so we've got potentially Alice. Maybe over by. Oh yeah, you've got it there. You've got Alison Hammond, and then potentially Fleur East in the Clauditorium because she's very lively. She's also glam, so she could fall into the glam squad. And we're also hearing Mel Giedroyc as well in the Clauditorium. So that's how it's shaping up at the moment. If this little squad makes any sense to you.
I love it though, because what I enjoy is that they are fully acknowledging and respecting the fact that the person in Jake's Clauditorium has to have that kind of off the cuff comedy, reactive stuff. I think Angela would be amazing at that, actually.
Yes.
Because she's already proven her chops on that with The Apprentice, You're Fired, which isn't called You're Fired anymore.
Well,
You know the one I mean.
Yeah, the new spin-off.
Should we put Angela in the Clauditorium
Yeah.
on that note, Flick?
I feel like she's
If the
one of them.
BBC
She
are
could go
watching,
either.
I think she could
Either
also
or.
go in the
Let's get her in this
Clauditorium.
mix
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. Why are they taking so long there, Hannah?
I think they know that it's a big decision and they have to make the right decision. They've also got lots of, I hate to say this, dead wood to clear out. If you look at the pro dancer axings they are slowly making, they don't want to announce the new presenters until they've sorted out the cast of their professional dancer team. So it's a really big show. They've got to get everyone in place. We're hearing that the judges are going to be the same though, but they are looking for a bit of a brush up and a new look for BBC's biggest show.
They always say nobody is bigger than the show. So I do think they're maybe missing a bit of a trick though here, just in my humble opinion, to add in a younger, fresher name. These are all amazing at their jobs, but I know that someone at the BBC told me that someone like Sian Welby was considered maybe someone that could be really good at it, because she has got that TikTok audience from her. She's on Capital Radio, isn't she? And, there isn't that mix here. And maybe that's needed. I know they're trying to do that with the celebrity cast that they add in every year. Look at George Clark. And maybe they should be thinking about that for the lineup, just in my humble opinion.
Well, also, to your point, all of these celebrities and presenters have got experience of hosting a live show, which is really important with Strictly.
Exactly.
Being able to handle a live show is really quite wild. And Sian has got that experience because she's hosted on This Morning and she also does her Capital Breakfast. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see her crop up somewhere at some point.
But one of the ones that has been tipped from the very beginning, so feels like a favourite, is Alex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should we push her forward?
Oh, yes. Let's push Alex forward.
She's the front runner.
It's like a Dalek.
I know. And also, I've got to say, I love Alex's personality. She seems really warm and she seems like someone you'd actually be friends with, because sometimes it is hard for presenters who are following a script for their personality to come through. Obviously, you do this very well, Flick. You follow a script and your personality comes through. So maybe you should be a front runner. Who knows? But do you know what I mean? I think that the audience has got to like their presenter.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I think Alex would be a perfect candidate for that as well. And I don't know if you guys remember, sort of about 10 years ago now, she hosted a live Saturday night show on the BBC. It was called Tumble. And it was a live sort of celebrity gymnastics program. And it was billed as maybe could it be a new Strictly type thing. It wasn't. Spoiler alert, only lasted one series. But she was the host on that and she was really good. She felt really natural. But we haven't seen her in that live entertainment format since. And so I wonder if the BBC have had a look back and thought, actually, she did really well on that. And so that's one of the reasons they're sort of pushing her to maybe be the new Tess this time around. And I think she'd do really well.
Yeah, they love a bit of diversity as well, don't they? Very important too, obviously. And she would bring that. So love it. Someone who we are hearing, though, is making TV moves, who, really hit the big time on Strictly, is Zara McDermott. Yes. So she has joined The Apprentice. What is going on?
It's sort of a random sort of thing. She's coming in, I think, to sort of guest judge one of the tasks, I believe.
Sorry if I sound like a hater. What is she offering here?
Well, I think she's mentoring on social media. So she's obviously
Right,
a vlogger.
okay.
She's got millions of Instagram followers. And I think on one of the tasks, she's giving them some advice on how to do really well with their social media within the task, which is good because I think it's showing that Apprentice, which has been on for decades, is catching up with the times.
Yeah. I do think it's really interesting, though, that she's going on this to talk about influence in social media. Because, of course, she's got loads of followers, millions of followers. But she does strike me as one of these people that she's come from Love Island and she's tried so hard to pivot into the space of being a well-respected TV presenter or documentary maker as opposed to one of the girls that has done just the brand deals on Instagram. So now her coming in to talk about influence, and I can't help but think it just feels all a little bit mismatched for her personal brand.
Now you
And or
sound
is
like
that
a
just me?
hater.
Maybe I am.
I hear you
don't
though.
know.
I hear you. She spent a lot of time trying to not be an influencer,
Yes.
and now she's positioning herself as an expert on being an influencer.
So it
But
just
also-
feels a little bit, I can't quite work out why.
The BBC love her.
Of course.
We interviewed one of the commissioners at the BBC recently, and they were saying that they think Zara is amazing. So I think I agree with your point, but I think we are going to see her shoehorned into lots of BBC flagship shows because they want to really push her star.
Sarah McDermott.
She become a new spotlight.
Insert picture of Zara. But also there's other people coming up as guest mentors. Grace Beverley.
Yes.
Yes, I think we've seen her on the show. I think she cropped up last week. Again, another influencer. So like you were saying, it really shows that The Apprentice are bringing in social media. They know it's sort of a thing of the future. So they're really picking tasks that align with influence in social media and picking the names that they think are also going to transcend well. And also it works well then because Apprentice clips are going to end up on TikTok, which of course is the future of television.
Big Zoo as well was also on.
Big Zoo, of course.
I just love imagining Alan Sugar at home with his phone. He's probably got a flip. No, he's very techno, isn't he? Being like, I think we need some of these influencers on.
Can you imagine though if they replaced like Karen Brady? Like imagine if Karen Brady was replaced with Zara McDermott. There would be outrage.
That would be a shake-up and a scandal in itself, wouldn't it?
Cancelling my licence fee. I love Karen.
I love Karen.
I think she is a fierce lady. Okay, speaking of what we're loving, Jake, let's bin and binge.
Bin or binge. So this week I'm binging. It's a little bit of a rogue one, but I really like my music. And this week, a female rapper called Miss Banks, she has dropped her debut album. She's sort of been on the music scene for quite a few years, but this is her first full-length project. It's called South London Lover Girl. It came out last week. And I listened to it and I thought it was a really amazing album. She sort of waited quite a few years to have her moment. She's worked with Little Mix, Nicki Minaj, quite a few big names in the past. So it's a really great album. I think everyone should go and listen to it. I think it's really great storytelling. And yeah, it really feels like it's maybe her moment to shine in the music industry a little bit. So yeah, go and listen.
I love this.
Yeah, I was going to say I love that you listen to female rap,
Yeah.
Jake. Very
it's
cool.
one of my favourite genres. So yeah.
I just love that me and Hannah were like, oh, Miss
Yeah,
Banks.
get yourself listening to it and give me your opinion afterwards.
Okay, and you are binning.
Binning this week. So, well, I'm sad to say this because I do quite like Vanessa Feltz, but I'm binning her chat show on Channel 5 because this week we did a little bit of a story on The Sun. It's like a phone-in show. She gets a lot of callers calling in. But it turns out that many of these phone calls aren't quite as they seem. There's a little group of people online who are colluding every day to come up with a hoax call. They're completely making the stories up. They're impersonating different celebrities that have been on sort of shows like Big Brother, bringing in all their references. They've made up storylines that have happened on Coronation Street and passed them off as their own sort of tales. And I just think it's crazy that they've managed to get all these calls through for weeks and weeks and not one single person has had a clue until they've sort of come to us and been like, you might want to see what these calls are saying and checking it out. So sadly, I'm going to have to bin the show because it's maybe not quite as authentic as everyone's been made to believe.
Do your due diligence.
Yes, they
In
need
my
to be
head,
checking.
it's like on The Simpsons when people ring up Moe's Tavern and it's like, it's Hugh
Literally.
Janus there.
And it is
it like
exactly that? From well, I've spoken to the people that are doing the prank calls and they sort of get together every morning and be like, what should we pick today?
Poor Vanessa, though. That's
I
not
know,
her
and
fault, is
she
it?
had no clue until we sort of told her.
Her
but
research team need to go back to school.
yes, they need to check the phone numbers because they're doing it on the same phone number and they're getting through.
I love this. Can I binge it?
Well, yes, I'm binging the fact that these calls are quite funny for the most part, but yeah, we've got to bin it.
Oh, God. Okay, Hannah.
I am binging, quite literally, Love Story on Disney Plus. It's the dramatization of John F. Kennedy Jr. and his romance with Carolyn Bessette. It's set in the 90s and it's super cool. She works at Calvin Klein. It's quite girly. My husband is not interested. But it's just really nice to hark back to that era, which is what I grew up in and probably what Flick grew up in. And with all the music from that time, it's very nostalgic and I've really enjoyed it. It's making me want to go visit New York as well.
Ooh, and binning.
I am binning, and this is going to annoy some people, the Bridgerton TikTok dance to Charlie XCX. Because I watched a few videos on TikTok and now it's all I'm getting in my algorithm. And I'm worried that I'm just going to bow to people and skip along.
You're going to start doing it around the office to everyone.
Can I recommend doing that? Because it's a real mood lifter. I think more we should bin the TikTok algorithm.
Right, okay,
Yes.
got you.
Because that's the problem here, not the Bridgerton dance. I am a defender of that. So I am binging another Netflix show, Age of Attraction. I don't want to
I've
spoil
seen
this, but so the reason why we love blind dates is for the reveal, right? So maths literally built around that premise. You know, all of these shows that involve like a gotcha moment.
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind, gotcha. That's the best bit. Age of Attraction, they fall in love, they're kissing. Nobody's allowed to tell each other what their age is until they've then reached the point where they want to go into the promise room and reveal their age. Hannah. I'm just going to give you a quick snapshot. We've got a 55-year-old woman learning that her love interest is 27.
No!
Younger than her eldest son. But the real kicker for me was this gorgeous girl. She was like 27, 28. Finds out that hunky Jorge is 60.
No!
Yes. And can I just point out as well, because I've seen a clip of this, these people don't look their age.
Right.
Oh,
so
no.
looking at them, they could be 20, they could be 50. It's quite sort of ambiguous in that sense. It's not an old man and a glam young girl.
No. There's a lot of Botox. There's a lot of like cool people going on here. It's all quite ambiguous.
So the casting's very clever.
Very clever.
Very
casting.
clever.
Oh my goodness me. And age is nothing but a number. And I'm aware this is deeply problematic in many ways. But for that reveal moment, I find it rare these days to have a moment when you're watching telly and you're like, oh my God, strap me in. And these reveals are that. I now fast forward, I must confess, to the reveal.
Just to see the reveal.
Can I ask a question? So as a viewer, do you know their age? Or you have to wait until the reveal is like, oh, that's excellent. I'm going to
game.
watch.
It's incredible, Hannah. You must binge. I'm binning how Into the Groove Madonna has become polluted by men because of this TikTok sound. So someone has remixed Madonna Into the Groove with this man being like, follow that sound. And then there's now all of these, the Love Islanders are doing it and stuff. And I love that people are being introduced to Madonna through this. But I'm like, it pops up and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Into the Groove. You got to prove. Oh no, there's now this man
making
keeps
something
tricking
up.
me. And I'm not up for that. So there we
But
go.
bless Madonna, she's got a viral tune.
It's all she's ever wanted. Bless her. She doesn't need it. She's doing well. That's your Showbiz 6 for this week, brought to you by Sun Bingo. Remember to subscribe to us here on the Sun Showbiz YouTube channel for all the inside TV and celebrity gossip. See you next week.